Chamah cares about the life of every single Jew. The mission of Chamah, to feed the poor, to teach Torah, to keep our spirits high. This resonates with all of us. But if there's one person who understands that mission, if there's one entertainer who sings and teaches us what it means to care for each other, that entertainer is Avrohom Fried. And his signature song, "No Jew Will Be Left Behind," is a commandment, it's an imperative to Chamah, to Jews everywhere, to you, our donors, to make sure that no Jew is left behind. Avrohom Fried has entertained us for years. So many of us have learned the dance to Chazak. And Avrohom Fried continues to inspire with new music, new songs, new nigunim, year after year. Avrohom Fried, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, dear friends. Avrohom Fried here. A couple of words about this wonderful organization called Chamah. Now, you know that Chamah means the sun, and Cham in Hebrew also means warmth. And I can say, I know them personally. Those who work at Chamah here in Crown Heights, they are warm, dedicated, kind-hearted people. And all they want to do is shine like the sun and help bring warmth and light to thousands of Jews. And in Eretz Yisrael and in Russia, during this terrible pandemic, they have not slowed down one bit, providing life-saving food and medicines to the very, very vulnerable, with doctors and nurses making home visits, putting their own lives at risk. You might not know this, but listen to this. Chamah has distributed chicken, produce, groceries, over 1 million pounds. I didn't say thousands. 1 million pounds of food distributed. Whatever we need, Chamah is providing it. So they're reaching out to you to help them cover the amazing costs that is going into providing these very life-saving services to the public. So please open your heart, your warm heart, wide, give generously, and help support this wonderful organization of Chamah. And may Hashem bench you with all that you need and want. Varikoisi lochem brocha ad bli dai. Thank you very much.
Aleichem malachei ashores, malachei elyoin, mimelech malchei hamelochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sholem aleichem malachei ashores, malachei elyoin, mimelech malchei hamelochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sholem aleichem malachei ashores, malachei elyoin, mimelech Melochim, ay ay HaKadosh Baruch Hu, ay Sholem malachei Sholem malachei elyoin, mimelech malchei hamelochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sholem malachei Sholem malachei elyoin, השולוי מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלוכים צלצל משולוי מלאכי השולוי מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלוכים
I want to congratulate you on celebrating 70 years of such important work with the Russian-speaking Jewish communities across the world. As we just finished celebrating Hanukkah, the Festival of Light, your dedicated efforts have added so much light into the world. Whether through providing food, medical care, educational programming, and communal activities. As a daughter to parents from the former Soviet Union, I know how much your work is vital. Thank you, Mrs. Yael Eckstein, Mr. and Mrs. Tom Corby, Chama donors, Mr. Len Blavatnik, and Mr. Aharon Frankel for all your continued leadership and impact. Chama chairmans, Mr. Oliver Stanton and Mr. Mitch Benerofe, and thank you Rabbi Hillel Zaltman and the Chama staff for your dedication and remarkable work. I wish you 70 more years of continued Hatzlacha. Yeshar Koach. Toda Rabba.
Тульчинская Инна, Гутевич Раиса. Мы от всей души сердечно хотим поблагодарить Хаму за то, что она не забыла о нас в такое страшное время и помогает нам материально, помогает морально. Мы не чувствуем себя одинокими. Большое спасибо.
Большое спасибо.
When the COVID-19 pandemic took the world by storm 9 months ago, the elderly population was forced into isolation. Government safety measures prompted adjustments to Chama soup kitchens in Israel and in Russia. But we cannot allow the elderly and the needy, many the sole survivors of their families, to go hungry. With carefully planned logistics and at great additional costs, our dedicated workers instituted emergency procedures to sustain this vulnerable population. In Israel, Chama instituted emergency measures for the elderly who have to remain in isolation to keep safe. By home delivering generous food packages, nutritious meals, medications, and items for the Jewish holidays and for Shabbos, the Chama Crisis Center is attending to the influx of calls for help. Chama is assisting families in financial distress due to being laid off by providing food packages and meals and personal protective equipment. Staff members and volunteers call seniors to make sure that they are safe and healthy, and to sound the alarm if anyone is in distress. Lunchboxes are delivered to homes of school children in quarantine, and books and toys to keep them occupied while at home. In Russia, devoted workers home deliver thousands of life-saving nutritious meals a month prepared in the Chama soup kitchen. Generous food packages are delivered irregularly. At great personal risk, doctors and nurses from the Chama Medical Center make home visits, bringing medication to their doors. In Moscow and its suburbs, Hundreds of nurses visit thousands of the elderly at their homes to monitor their condition, provide personal care, and to keep their homes safe and clean. Chamah provides tens of thousands of medications, personal hygiene, and PPE to the recipients. The Chamah Center for Child Development has hundreds of children enrolled in the center, many of whom are special needs children. The center has dozens of programs carried out by a professional team, including various specialists and volunteers. In the United States, Chamah cannot ignore the plight of the elderly and large families in the New York area, struggling to put food on their tables. Working tirelessly with government agencies, Chamah distributed close to 2 million pounds of food to cover 1,000 families in need. Generous packages are prepared for pickup in an orderly, discreet manner in accordance with social distancing rules. Packages include meat, chicken, fresh produce, dairy products, bread, even pizza and cake. Food coupons were distributed for the holidays. In addition, a team of volunteers delivered nearly 1,000 food packages to the homebound. Chamah now has an online food portal where families in need can order food of their choice for free. Packages are being prepared for Hanukkah and for families with special needs children. Chamah suffered a great loss. The untimely passing of Rabbi Yechiel Eckstein, the founder of IFCJ, the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, was profound. For the last 2 decades, Rabbi Zaltzman and Rabbi Eckstein traveled throughout Russia, throughout Israel, bringing food, support, and Torah to so many.
The Jewish world, nay, the entire world, suffered a crushing blow. The sudden and untimely death of Rabbi Yechiel Eckstein, founder and president of IFCJ. He was a cherished friend to thousands and revered by millions whose lives he saved. Rabbi Eckstein has well earned his place as one of the foremost Jewish leaders of our time. He has achieved what not many before him have even attempted, building a bridge of understanding and tolerance between Christians and Jews. He initiated a dialogue that resulted in projects promoting the security and well-being of Jews in Israel and around the world. The fellowship provides humanitarian aid to 1.6 million people worldwide.
There's a phrase, Kol Yisrael Arevim Ze Bazeh, that each of us is responsible for one another. And if we help one person, as we know, we save the life of one person, it's like we save the life of the whole world. Those of you who are here at the dinner tonight, support Chamah, that you'll continue with extra strength. Oh, when we look at the stock market and we say sometimes, oh, our income has gone up this past year, 15%, 10%, 35%. But I ask, have our charitable giving also increased 15%, 25%, 30%? Or are we simply doing what we did last year? The need is there. The tool for helping them is there with Chamah. I hope that people will increase their gifts and continue to help the work of Chamah.
Chamah is so grateful to count Yael Eckstein as our friend and as our major supporter. Since the untimely passing of her father in 2019, Yael has been a true leader. She has taken the helm of the IFCJ, and in the spirit of her late father, she continues to support Chamah and our programs globally. We are so grateful for her friendship, and we look forward to working with her for many years to come.
Here in Jerusalem. I'm so happy to be part of this virtual event and to really celebrate the life-saving and holy work of Chamah. I know that all year round in Russia, lives are saved because of Rabbi Zaltzman and the entire team of Chamah. And Hakeren Yedidut, the fellowship, is just so proud to be partners. We have the zchut, the opportunity to save lives in Russia, turn to elderly with love, with care, with hope, because there are people on the ground like Rabbi Zaltzman who work day and night to make sure that they are cared for. So this is a celebration of you, Rabbi Zaltzman, of everything that Chamah has accomplished. I am proud, honored, and humbled to carry on the tradition of my father, Zichrono Livracha, who would be every year with you at the event. And our support continues, our appreciation continues, and I just cannot speak enough good about the holy work that you do, and I encourage everyone to do what they can to enable Rabbi Zaltzman and everyone at Chamah to continue the avodat kodesh that's needed now more than ever for the elderly and the Jews in Russia. Shalom and Betzlach.
Я Мещерякова Виктория Владимировна. Мне 75 лет. При всем богатстве русского языка очень сложно подобрать слова, чтобы выразить меру признательности, благодарности Хаме за постоянную помощь, поддержку, внимание, заботу. Особенно в это очень трудное время. Низкий поклон.
Foremost underground activist Hillel Zaltzman delivered 3 million metric tons of food after the breakup of the Soviet Union as director for the Food for Progress program of the United States government. With Chamah, Hillel continues to feed the needy.
I am pleased to introduce you a gentleman who I consider the whole event is because of him. Because he was so generous. Although his generosity over the years, but he gave a special gift of $118,000 to be matched by everyone. It's meaning everybody who gives $1, he will match up to $118,000. My dear Oliver Stanton, please.
Chamah means to me something very dear. They take care of people that are forgotten, elderly, handicapped, all kinds of people that need things, that don't have family or the money. They do this in Russia, in Israel, and in America, and their efforts are tireless. Please help keep Chamah going. Through this time of the pandemic, it's been exceedingly difficult for everybody, but Chamah hasn't stopped once. So please join me. I'm donating $118,000 as a matching gift. So please, everybody, open your hearts and your wallets and help me with this matching gift. Bring Chamah to the people that need it. Thank you.
It is a privilege to introduce Mitch Benerofe, our dinner chairman for this evening. Mitch and his wife Ada are the proud parents of 5 children. They are devoted to helping Jewish people in need, to the developmentally disabled, and for the last 30 years, Mitch has been the flag bearer and advocate for Chamah.
The past 10 months or so of the COVID pandemic has really focused our lives in a very different and unusual way. And we've come to realize, because of being confined and restricted, how very, very valuable our spouses and our children and our grandchildren, and if we're lucky, our great-grandchildren are to us. and we've learned new ways of intimacy with them and how to relate to them, and perhaps gained some real insight that we might not have gained otherwise. And the restrictions that have been placed on us by the pandemic there are many people in our world who are less fortunate than those of us who are watching tonight. And as always, Chamah has stepped up to the plate and reached out to those people on 3 continents, in the former Soviet Union, in Israel, and in the US, by delivering food and delivering sustenance and hope and social contact to those who couldn't do it for themselves. So in the 35 years or so that my family has been involved with Chamah, I've never been more proud of the work that they do. And the real point of this evening is to raise money, and I would encourage you that if there ever was a time to be generous and beneficent, now is the time. We need your help, so we ask that you open your hearts and your wallets in our behalf. I must say, I have such admiration for the rabbis that run the organization and the people who actually deliver the services that we offer at great risk to themselves, always putting the other person's needs ahead of their own. So keep that in mind as you watch the program that describes more thoroughly or fully than I can describe what Chamah actually does. And let me remind you that it's a time to be generous to the extent that it's possible.
Tom and Tricia Corby, great friends of Chamah since 2010. Tom is the president of the Erwin Rautenberg Foundation. Together with his partner and wife, Tricia, they have traveled with Chamah to Moscow to feed the needy and the indigent. They are true donor activists who brought the Jewish Community Foundation of Los Angeles to Kiryat Malachi to co-host Shabbatonim. Chamah couldn't do what we do without their support. We are so grateful for their friendship.
I'd like to thank Chamah for the beautiful plaque that they presented to us. Each year, they seem to come up with the most beautiful gifts that we can have around our house. I'll just read a little bit about it. It is our great privilege to honor Tom and Tricia Corby, pillars of Chamah, in recognition of your tireless dedication and compassion for the elderly and the needy, and decades of generosity, support of our humanitarian work. You are true role models for others to emulate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll be sure to treasure this. It's great to have the opportunity to say thank you to Chamah and congratulate you on your 33rd anniversary. Thank you for honoring us. Chamah's mission is meaningful to both Tom and I, and we so enjoyed our visits to Kiryat Malachi and Moscow to the hospital. And you have our promise of a long-standing commitment from our foundation.
I'm also proud to say that my wife Tricia and I are close friends and supporters of Chamah for over a decade. We have support over 50 worthy charities, but Chamah really calls to our hearts. Their dedication to the elderly and ill continues to amaze us each year. After the COVID broke out, they send all of their employees to go to the homes of the elderly because they can no longer come to the facility for medical care and food. Also in Israel, they do the same, and in New York, I understand that they've delivered many tons of food to the elderly and needy. We are very proud to continue to support Chamah in the future. Thank you.
Tom and Tricia, I would like on behalf of the thousands of people what being helped through you, would like to say you thank you. Especially you and Tricia always with us in helping people. Without your help, we wouldn't be able to maintain our vital projects in Israel and Moscow. Your special visit in Moscow, it was very admirable, especially your compliments, what you give it to our people there for their dedication to work. Especially now with the corona, it's the old people going very big hardship in their life. And only through your help and through Chamah working together with you is the people being helped.
It's my pleasure to acknowledge the pillarship, if you will, of Tom and Trish Corby. They have been consistent supporters of Chamah for many years now, and this year we're acknowledging them with the Pillar Award. I have unending gratitude for their beneficence and their generosity, and I can't say thank you enough. I do miss the fact that we're not having an actual dinner this year, because we do get, my wife Ada and I do get a chance to spend some time with Tom and Trish, which is something we've begun to cherish over the years. In any event, let me say again, congratulations to Tom and Trish, and we hope that this relationship goes on for many years to come. Thank you.
Walking in the pathways of our ancestors, legacy, Harvey and Randy Mackler, trustees of the Joseph Alexander Foundation. Started by their uncle in the 1970s, managed by their parents, Alfred and Helen. Their story, their commitment to charity, their commitment to their legacy is a lesson for us all to give more, to do more, to help. Thank you, Harvey and Randy Mackler.
Shalom Chaverim Shel Chamah. I am Harvey Mackler. I am a trustee of the Joseph Alexander Foundation. I have been one since 1980. We had the distinct pleasure to be introduced to Rabbi Moshiach Chudayatov in the early 1980s, nearly 5 decades ago. His charity and our charity, he checked all the boxes for us, and it was very personal for us. My family was from Russia, from Bialystok, the home of the Bialy. So we were very pleased and excited to do work with Rabbi Chudayatov. One of the conditions of our first approval was I went to visit them in Kiryat Malachi at the very beginning. What Moshiach did not know, or maybe he knew and fooled me, I was fluent in Hebrew. While there on the construction site, a contractor was shaking him down for money. We knew then that this was a charity we had to support. And here we are, 5 decades later, still proudly being involved with Rabbi Chudayatov and Chamah. And now we have our next generation involved with the foundation, Lador Vador, from generation to generation, and may we all be together 5 decades from now doing the same thing. Kol HaKavod, Moshiach.
Добрый день. Я хочу выразить свою благодарность обществу Chamah, в котором состоит я и вся моя семья. Благодаря обществу Chamah я не чувствую себя покинутым. Я с удовольствием бываю на всех вечерах, которые организовывает замечательная Анжела, где слушаю еврейскую песню, еврейскую музыку, где выступают люди, которые рассказывают о истории Израиля. Я с большой благодарностью принимаю совершенно не лишние для нас материальную помощь.
Our hearts sing with joy when we listened to God Elbaz, one of the most recognized voices in popular Israeli music today. The internet has brought his voice into millions of homes. We are blessed to have him with us this evening. God Elbaz.
I would like to take my privilege to introduce a gentleman who sponsored a food program for students in school in Israel who cannot have their own breakfast and their own lunches, unfortunately. So came a gentleman and sponsored thousands for a year, for the entire year, to sponsor their breakfast and food that they can learn, they can concentrate, and this is going to be our future doctors, engineers, professors, musicians. They will build this real builder of the Jewish nation, and they can concentrate because of my lovely friend, my dear Lawrence Benenson.
Good evening, and welcome to Chamah's 2020 Gala. My name is Lawrence Benenson, and I'm very happy to be honored here, along with my co-honorees, Yael Eckstein, Tom Corby, Mitchell Benerofe, and Harvey Mackler. What a wonderful evening, and I'm glad you're all here. I'm glad any of us is anywhere this year. Thank you, Oliver Stanton, for agreeing to match every donation up to $118,000. Really wonderful and very generous. My wife Elise and I are very glad to support the nutritional food program of Chamah for hungry children in Israel, hungry school children. It's very exciting and thrilling to know that hundreds of children have been fed thousands of meals over the last couple of years because my wife and I were asked to step up to the plate, as it were, and feed these children. And we are happy to be partners with Chamah in making the world a better place. Keep it going, and see you next year, God willing.
Hi, congratulations, Larry and Elise. Very excited for you.
You set the gold standard in terms of caring, in terms of commitment. You've always had a way of finding your own voice and your own way, and your support of Chamah is really just a beautiful thing. Happy to be part of it with you.
Congratulations and love.
From both of us.
Bye-bye.
Our brothers and our sisters are in need. This has been a difficult year for everyone. As you have heard tonight from our rabbis and from our supporters, Chamah is at the forefront of making this year a little bit easier for everybody. Our major donors have agreed to match dollar for dollar all the support that you provide. We hope that next year we can be together in person. This evening, please give, please donate, please help. Please know that every dollar you give goes to people in need. Every dollar you give helps Chamah achieve its mission. Every dollar you give brings us all a little bit closer, brings our family closer together. Kol Yisrael arevim ze lozeh. Every Jew is responsible for one another. Few take this mission more seriously than the rabbis that run Chamah. We hope that you'll join us on this journey. We hope that you will join us to support our brothers and our sisters. We hope that you will give as much as you can. And with your support and Hashem's blessing, Chamah will be able to continue to provide support for many more years to come. During the darkest days of Stalin's terror against his own people, when Jews and Judaism were under attack, 3 young people resolved to do something. 3 young rabbis, Mashiach Chudaitov, Hillel Zeitzman, and Binyamin Melikovsky, ran an underground network of schools. They delivered coal in the freezing winters. They organized weddings and bar mitzvahs in secret. They created a fund to feed the poor. They uplifted their friends and their communities with hope, a hope that brought Torah and Judaism into the lives of so many trapped behind the Iron Curtain. When these 3 rabbis came to America, they continued to work hard, to work with all of their heart and soul, to continue to feed and support their friends and their communities left behind. And today, Chamah is an international organization feeding the poor, educating Jews in Israel and in the United States and in Russia. Chamah is a tribute to the faith, to the hard work, and to the sweat of these 3 young rabbis. John Catsimatidis is a national treasure, a true patriot, everything that is great about America. He is a strong supporter of Chamah. New York is proud to call him our own.
In the year of 2020, the day COVID visited us worldwide, philanthropy is even more important. Giving the people that are healthy and working have the right and the ability to give and help all people of the world that are misfortunate. And at a time of holidays, at the time of need, those who help, God will reward. 2 years ago, I got involved with Chamah and started the New York initiative to raise money from New Yorkers for all these people. And it gives my heart satisfaction to be able to do that and say that. Thank you all from the New York area that are helping. Thank you all from all over the world that are helping. Don't forget, New York is the capital of the world, and New York has to help all these people.
When the pandemic hit New York, Rabbi Berri initiated the Feed New York program, distributing much-needed resources to those at home. In the former Soviet Union, in the Ukraine, and in Israel, Rabbi Berri created programs to ease the plight of Holocaust survivors living in their twilight years. As Chamah's Director of Development, he brings the organization forward, identifying needs and finding solutions.
Thousands and thousands of families, they lost jobs. And what was so hard for them is to go and ask for food in America, in New York. And we felt we need to act in a way that people shall not feel embarrassed to ask for food, to do it in a dignified way. The Chamah Co-op is a digital platform where people can choose the items they need, order it, and get delivered all for free. This is a revolution in chesed. Chesed, tzedakah. The word of tzedakah means fairness. It's nice to give boxes of food for people, but if they need to wait online, they lose their dignity. Many people will never go and ask for food. With the new Chamah Co-op, it's a revolution in chesed. It's a revolution in the way of we help people. We don't more just give everyone the same box and the same way of waiting for 30 minutes and embarrassing yourself. We're giving a way that everyone who needs can go online, choose what they need exactly. Not everyone is getting the same chicken, the same fish. You choose. You need more fish for your kids. You need more chicken. You choose exactly what you need, and you get delivered in the most dignified way. With the box, with the store, it says a store. People really appreciate it, and this is why we want to thank all our partners in this endeavor. It's a beautiful, beautiful idea. We already have requests in Israel to do the same store. We have requests in Russia, because people today, from one side need help, from the other side are very, very embarrassed to ask for help. We have a family with 7 children. They called us and they told us that for 6 months they didn't have where to get food. They have little kids, and when they got this email, they said it changed their life. They can now choose what they need and get it delivered. She didn't want to go out and ask. She was too embarrassed. So thank you everyone. Thank you for everyone to partner, and may God give all our partners continuing blessings for everyone.
One of the most beautiful things that I've experienced is the way that dignity is a fundamental core of the way food is distributed. They put hours of effort into ensuring that people aren't embarrassed and don't feel uncomfortable to be part of that core group of people who receive these donations of food, as well as soap and basic needs that people have in their homes. In my short experience being a part of Chamah, I've heard about the origins in the Soviet Union and the hard work they did to distribute food there, the work they do in Israel, and the things that they've started now in New York. However, one of the most beautiful things that I've experienced is the way that dignity is a fundamental core of the way food is distributed. They put hours of effort into ensuring that people aren't embarrassed and don't feel uncomfortable to be part of that core group of people who receive these donations of food, as well as soap and basic needs that people have in their homes. Then, on top of that, I've seen during now this COVID-19 situation, people not knowing what to do, asking for help for possibly the first times in their life. And Chamah stepped up to the plate, created an online distribution service so that people aren't embarrassed and don't have to come line up and be a part of any open group, but rather they can just go online and they can request some help. And then on top of that, that help that they request online is not a basic box of just, you know, we have our one box of soup, our two cornflakes, and our 3 apple juices. It's I, the family, get to select what is needed for my family with 3 kids or 6 kids or 2 adults, and then get that specific box set up and sent to my home so that I'm able to live comfortably and confidently in a dignified manner.
Добрый день, дорогие друзья! Хочу представиться. Вот наша Анна Аврамовна, Хуторецкая. Я ее дочь Дина. Мы хотим сказать большое спасибо, выразить большую благодарность благотворительной организации Chamah, которая столько доброго делает для пожилых людей. Я с легкой совестью могу идти на работу. Вышла на работу благодаря тому, что предоставляется хорошая возможность, уход за моей дорогой мамочкой. Также хочу сказать спасибо за материальную помощь, которую мама моя получает на карточку «Перекресток». Спасибо огромное. Всем мира, добра, любви и счастья. Спасибо.